Hey. All right, we're live.
What looking at over the pond?
Now we just went live. Hey everyone, let's see. I think this is working now. Hey.
Woohoo!
All right, we're live.
Looking at over the
Let's see, let me hear if this is
pond?
coming through at all. You know what? Cool. Mandy, are you on? I don't know if we can hear you. Do we have to add her left or add her right? What's that mean? Or assign her? Guest one.
So once Andrew gets the laptop.
Well, no, oh, yeah. You want to jump on it then?
Yeah, give it to him. Go bring it to him.
Oh, got it. Oh, I'm sorry, bud. You gotta yell. Hey, Andrew, just yell, Matt, give me the laptop,
I'm the
bud.
camera. You're
I wasn't
one of the
paying
participants
attention.
on today's show. Let's grab the
What
bench.
is going on?
Let's grab this guy.
Yeah.
Bring him over here.
Beautiful. Yep.
Andrew.
Stop, I'm making a running jump.
Oh, hold on. I'm going to use that as the gimbal control.
All right. Hey, kiddos. Hey, kiddos. Yeah, you good?
Hey, Debra.
Yeah.
Hey, we're live, guys. All right.
We're on TV.
So you gotta be careful. Hey.
Hey, Andrew.
Hey, Andrew, you want to sit next to us so we can see?
No, he's got to be right there, but we'll make sure he's in the picture. We're going to have him turn around so we can see it when he's available.
Yeah. Oh. Can you hear Mandy?
No, she cut her out.
I did.
That's what I was trying to set up. Yep.
I'm
But
sorry.
I'll call her back. No, she's good.
All right. Well, welcome, everyone, if you're out there.
No, look at the camera. There, the people are. There's two people.
Oh, cool.
The people are the camera.
You want to come join me? Well, this is a very special episode.
Hold on a sec.
It is a solstice spectacular, hopefully farm to farm, but you know what, farms sometimes
The only audio is my headphones.
it's actually miraculous that we have Wi-Fi here.
No, we have no audio.
But anyways, so we don't have audio. We have no audio.
Yeah, my headphones. Hold up.
Wait, am I muted or unmuted?
Ben, do we have
You're muted.
How about now?
You can hear us talking?
Yeah, it's just through my headphones.
Is that road connectable? Because that might be perfect right now.
Little birds, I can hear some red-winged blackbirds.
And it might actually reduce, and then you can unplug these. If we can turn these guys off, it might reduce like the interference.
Yeah, you just sound like you're in a box, but you're good.
We do?
That is working.
All right, cool.
We should get the Cornell app out.
Let's pull it. What do you think about pulling these guys off? Will it like free up some bandwidth, or is everything cool?
My phone's
We're
dead,
good?
unfortunately. They're on my monitor.
So should we say welcome?
Welcome, yeah.
Yeah, we got people
Haven't
watching.
we? Hey, welcome. How are you?
Well,
Great for you to be here.
It
We're
is
so excited.
It is so lovely.
Yes, we're here at the Soberstead in
We are
Elmira,
at the
New York.
Soberstead.
Yep.
And what a special episode. So it is the longest day of the year, and look at this place. It is just,
It's past 8 o'clock, and it feels
Magical.
like it is like an afternoon
Oh,
right now.
and you
Yeah.
guys, we should walk around tonight and show people around. I don't know. This
Yes.
is Ben. We came up here. We made the drive. I can't believe these guys made it. We're in upstate New York, right near the Pennsylvania border.
It was 6 hours.
6 hours,
It
and
was
we
6
roughed
hours.
through all of it to get here, and what a sight to behold, huh, Ben?
So Ben, what's it like here?
It's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, what have you done today?
We went swimming in the pond a few minutes ago. We took a trip all the way up there on the mountain.
All the way to the top, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, we've got some cool drone footage Chris took too, we'll be able to show.
Together, we helped sort the baby chicks,
Yep,
and there's other stuff that
that's right. They had 70 brand new meat chickens that
And
they're
today
raising.
we had summer solstice.
That's
What
right.
is summer solstice? Wait, do you want to tell people what solstice
Sure.
is? Because that's what tonight's
Summer
about.
solstice is when it's 1:09 o'clock and the sun is at
Yeah?
That's right. And all the plants react differently to it, right? For some, they love having that extra sun. For some of them, they take it as a signal, right? There was a video your dad and your mom made not too long ago where they talked about all this in great depth. And there's a really cool information off there for anybody else watching. The Gardin channel is going to post that later, talking about what the solstice is and how the angle of the sun changes and why today is so special in relation to that. But
By the way, that was yesterday.
yesterday? No, it was today. Remember, we were standing right here. There's a video too.
It was yesterday that we also made it.
That's right. We did make a video yesterday. We've been busy because we've been on so many different adventures. We were recording different bugs that we were finding. We saw some really cool birds and a creek that we just sat by for a while. There's been a lot of cool things, and so I'm so glad to be back here and just out in the wild doing wild things with a bunch of really cool people.
Will it help the audio if it's closer?
Probably. It sounds like our team is working on some audio stuff, so thank you everybody that's out there. They're hanging with us. Obviously, we're not where we normally are in this situation, so we've been piecing it together and made a last-minute decision to bring everything up. We're down at a cool camp that we built, and we had service, but it wasn't enough to get the video to upload, so last minute we said, all right, let's put everything in the mule, let's go up there and we'll go by the pond. And it was a great decision because now we've got the beautiful skyline in the background. We've got the sun still. So we thank everybody for working through it with us and being here now. So with that, I think Matt's got some things to talk about that summer solstice. Tell us more. We're so interested.
Oh man, so we had a fun week really learning about summer solstice. And you know, as someone who spends a lot of time outdoors, you can feel this time of year always, you know, just instinctually, everything's just so alive. And then you can feel things fading throughout the summertime. And this week, me and Mandy just dove in and did our research, and we're putting up a video that's slowly uploading about solstice gardening and past that. And right, like solstice is actually the start of summer, and it made me have this realization that what summer really is a period of time where light is consistently declining. Like day one of summer, right? It's today, right?
Right.
Is it correct?
Yeah.
And I just wanted to verify that. I was like, you know, but
sounds good to me.
Kicks
Yeah.
off. Solstice represents, and like this is a period where the sunlight will continually decline, less and less blue. So at the peak of the day, right, like the intensity is never going to be as strong as it was today. It's going to continue to diminish. Plus, the days are getting shorter. And so, as a response, you know, the plants don't have as much energy to produce, right? And so you see that, right? Like, we're getting that peak of growth, and even in the next couple of weeks, it's actually harder for plants to grow because there tends to be less water, more importantly, like more heat, right? So things are getting hotter, even though sun's
with
diminishing.
less water, I think.
And redder and like orange, and plants have these pigments in them that are like sensors, and they can sense basically as the sun shifts from red to far red, and far red represents two things. It represents the sun being lower on the horizon, so there's more far red later on in the year, and the sunsets get longer, and also when plants fall in the shade. Both of these things are what happen, you know, as fall approaches, because the sun is lower in the horizon.
Right.
So even if the sun was just as intense, so much is there throughout, you know, the day. They'll build up like the red portion of the pigment, and when it gets dark, and we were talking about this, it starts switching to the far red. Right. And basically once the PR drops low enough, when it starts going up again, it must be fall. And in response, it'll either fall. And in response, it'll either start flowering or not flower until it's shorter days.
Right. It's the deciding factor that tells a plant what it needs to do next, and that varies based on everything, right? Like, I'm so excited. I have peppers right now, and we're in Boston, so they're just out on my porch, but every day I'm kind of looking at the size, the most range, just like, how can I put them in position while I'm gone so during the day they're able to soak as much. But here, right, it's like you think we're in a valley pretty much, and so anything on that north side, right, is getting just a full day's worth of exposure. And it's amazing.
Dude, can you show us around quick? I mean, and to that point, right, like there's a big mountain ridge, right? And maybe you want me to like...
Yeah, sure. I'll give kind of a brief overview from where we are.
How are you doing, Andrew?
Yeah, I'm going to bring Mandy in real quick.
So as you'll see... Oh, yeah, cool. Let's hop Mandy on. I love that.
Here, if you want to bring this around,
Yeah, for sure. So if you look up over here, there's actually a creek in the valley. It's a watershed, which goes all the way down to the Susquehanna, and then after the Susquehanna, it makes its way down to the ocean. And so one of the focuses we've had, I know it's tough to see, right? Thinking about how with gravity, all water goes down. We've got a cool pond here overlooked by the house there. But all of this, as you'll see, we've been working on trying to mitigate some of the runoff just because it's been such a wet season here. And so when working with like the pond and some of our equipment, we're trying to help foster the erosion, and we're having a hard time with some of the areas below just with water runoff. But thinking about it, right, anything from this pond, anything up above on the back side of the property is just making its way through this tenuous journey through different rapids and different streams and creeks and then rivers. It's always something that fascinated me. So down there would be a creek, and on the other side, if Chris can pan over there with a camera just to show it a little bit, up on top of that hill, on the other side there's grazing fields that are used for agriculture and recreation at this point, maybe in the last 40, 60 years. A lot of potato farms were in this area, as well as like personal farm grown vegetables and different things like that. But kind of our maple grove, you'll see in my parents' property is about 55 acres, and it spreads almost halfway up that side of the hill. And so we have a chunk on both sides of this ravine and this valley. But on that side, there's over 200 maple trees. So come the winter, usually around Valentine's Day in February, the conditions are just right. He was talking about how the plants change due to the sun. Well, the maple trees is similar with the weather conditions. You know, these warmer days with lots of sun when they can experience it, and then the cold day or the cold nights is what forces the tree to go through and then cycle the sap, which we then collect. So there'll be more information, especially that time of year when I'm sure Matt might be able to find some time to come up and be able to see that maple syrup season.
I'm not leaving.
You know, yeah, that's right. He's staying here, so sorry, man.
I can't come home just yet. There's too much to see.
Appreciate it.
It's amazing. This place is, you can feel the magic and the energy, and there's just so much life here and so much biodiversity, and it's a holiday today. We can feel it in the air. It smells good up here. I mean, look at the flowering. I don't know if you see all of these gorgeous flowers.
They're beautiful.
There's such beautiful plant diversity in this meadow. It's really just rich.
The bees love that. We have a couple different hives right now that we've been working on, and so all of these wildflowers and, you know, some of the fruits and things like that is just so amazing to see how it all works together and the biodiversity of the life here. So we do maple syrup. We also have tons of apple trees, a lot of ones that have been here for years and years. Cortland, Empire apples, which are New York indigenous. And so some of the older trees you can kind of see in the background covering up the house. That one there is a major producer. I love picking that tree because it takes like 3 or 4 days to get everything. That's one of my favorite apple trees. But in order to help ourselves and to help the biodiversity of the area, we got some more fruiting apple trees, those like super species dwarf trees. I don't know more into specifics, but I'm sure somebody else on our team would be able to dive into, you know, how they've been able to produce these trees or genetically select these trees that have smaller foliages so they don't block as much of the sun for the ones next to it. But we have over 20 of those trees down in that grove there, and we planted those about 4 years ago, and we're kind of just helping them grow up to the fruiting stage. There's some grapes on the property. We do onions, potatoes, but this place is just thriving with life. And so we met Matt not too long ago at the beginning of the year, and as we talked about all of this cool agricultural stuff in the city, he's like, you got to come outside the city. So we took this long road trip with a family, and it was phenomenal. When we arrived last night, it was close to 1 a.m. in the morning, I think, just, you know, checking things out. Lightning bugs are out right now, so we're hoping to get a cool video capture of that after the sun goes down. We'll see if we can use our equipment to come up with something cool and do a live stream of just this entire field, right? You can imagine it's pitch dark, and you just see these shooting lights go off. It is such a sight to behold.
I couldn't believe how many there were. We got up here at midnight, and there were so many fireflies still just going off.
Yeah.
You know, I want to ask you something related to solstice, okay? So right now the sun, it kind of does something, right, where it's going to start off in the morning and go up, and it's just going to sit right, I'm trying to see that, above, and then drop down. And over time, as the sun drops down, it's going to get lower and lower, and more because of the mountain right here. It's going to be blocked on this side, on the north face.
Right.
But on the southern slope, I bet you it just gets hammered.
You know it.
And is life like increasingly different, like as the fall rolls in? Late summer, is it real hot over there and a lot cooler over here?
Always, yeah. So that's why we were set up at the scout camp down below, and that's the best place to be in the summer because it's got so much foliage. It's the lowest point. It's got that cold water constantly running through it. So it is like 10 to 15 degrees cooler down there. And it is just such a pleasant place to be on a hot summer day. My second favorite place, of course, would be the pond. I love to just float around, and that's a great way to cool off too. But yeah, sit and be in the heat. One time I was sitting in here, right? Hopefully we'll see it. The bats come out, right? And they start eating mosquitoes. And so I was in like an inner tube in the center of the pond, and this bat started cycling. You know, he was hunting, but he was following me. And so I kept spinning around in the inner tube, and we went around in circles just tracking each other for a good 5 minutes. But I digress. Let's talk more about Summer Solstice.
Awesome story. I love that story.
Comment from Jeff. Should we bring Mom in?
Yeah.
All right, let's bring Mom in.
Can we hear her?
I will, but I'll turn it up.
All right. What a beautiful evening. Oh, look, is that a red-winged blackbird over there?
Let's see. Oh yeah, on those cattails.
We saw an oriole earlier.
That's right. It flew right above us.
And even though we're from...
Pretty sure I captured it. I'm hoping.
Yeah.
All right, here's Mom.
Hey, Mandy.
Hey, Mandy. How's life at home? Oh, uh-oh.
Hold on, it's still my headphones. I don't know why.
We might not have the bandwidth.
Oh, you're muted, Mandy.
Oh,
Feels
I'm
like-
still in the green room. Oh, I think I'm
Wait,
here.
you need to rotate that. There we go. Yeah. Up. Yep.
Perfect.
Yes, can you guys hear me?
Yes, it sounds great.
How awesome. How awesome is this? I've been in the green room. I've been able to hear everything. And what a beautiful place. And I just saw a little Ben poke in. Hey, Ben.
Yes. Hey, Luce, come on over and come see Mom. She's on the
Oh
screen.
my
You want
gosh,
to say hi?
happy Summer Solstice,
Lucy, come over
everybody.
here, okay, sweetie?
Ben and Lucy, are you guys having the time of your life?
Yes or no? You having fun?
We're doing it. We're doing a few farms. I love it.
Wait here. Let me give you the mic.
We'll hear Mandy.
Okay, cool.
That's funny. Cool. So tell us about how was the summer solstice up there? How was the summer solstice in Boston? Tell us about what was happening on your farm.
Oh my gosh. It was a hot, it was a hot, a lot of wind actually. Heard you guys talking about it earlier. There's just nothing like a gorgeous sunny day. You know, I'm sitting outside right now. The birds are still calling. It's unbelievable. I love this time of year.
It's beautiful. It's vigorous with life right now, isn't it?
Yes. It's so full of life. What have you guys seen on the farm today?
We have some baby chicks. Baby chicks.
That's right.
Baby chicks. Any cool animals hanging out on summer solstice?
We saw toads. We saw toads.
You saw a chipmunk.
Oh, God, we love a good toad. We love a good toad.
And we went to a creek and did a dump. Like a dunk in there.
You took a dunk in the pond?
Yeah, and I
Dunk
ran
in the
all
pond,
That's
dump in the outhouse.
amazing. Oh, okay. I missed that part. I missed that part. Well, it sounds like you guys are having a blast.
The pond over there, like the big pond, it was in the creek.
They created their own little wading
Nice.
pool, and they were able to like float around.
Hey, Benny, move a little.
Oh my God, that property is magical. Oh my gosh, Ben. Hi, Lucy. Hi, guys. What's the weather like where you guys are? Is it warm?
All right, guys, let's. We're gonna get back to it. We're gonna watch some video together.
Yes, I'm so excited.
Yeah.
I loved making this video. Late summer gardening. You really get a good idea of why different plants respond differently after the summer solstice. When you really understand about,
Say I love you, Mom.
you know, the big thing, the less sun but more heat. Bye, Luce. Right into the microphone. Bye, baby. I love that. I think Jeff was saying it too, and maybe Patrick, you were saying it too, that the earth absorbs heat, which is just wild. So the stress these plants are under with not as much sun to grow, but lots and lots of heat still ahead. It's a stressful time for them, and different plants respond differently. To that combination, and that can be a big key on how you should garden based on how they respond.
It's so true. And you know, I mean, we just wanted to check in. I don't know how much more do you guys want to watch video or?
Yeah, let's go through it.
Computer over to those tables over there?
Out, I am loving watching.
That sounds good.
Get up.
Shoot something other than
You're supposed to do something. Do it.
You gonna watch the video or are we skipping it?
I think we're gonna throw the
I know it's newly released.
You ready to switch over, Mandy? I'm gonna throw the video on right now.
Summer solstice, the longest
I'm
day of the
hearing all
year.
these
And it's also
birds.
the day where the sunlight is brightest and most intense. Everything is bright green and vibrant. There's been an unparalleled flow of energy until now from the sun, and the days are getting longer and longer.
It's been a race to the sky until now. Plants have been putting their solar panels, their leaves, ever higher, reaching above their neighbors. But on summer solstice, everything changes. What goes up must come down, and that includes the sun. The days are going to start getting shorter, shadows are going to be cast over their plants, making those solar panels go into periods of darkness.
And more incredible is that different plants will respond to this. Some of them, depending on the type, will be responding in exact opposite manners. Some will get taller and go into flower, while others will suppress that and make sure they're just continuing to grow until it cools down.
In this video, we are going to cover what happens on and after solstice, how plants respond, and what you can do as a gardener. Stick with us. So what happens on and after summer solstice? Well, in short, plants experience less light, more shading, and more heat.
And after half a year of increasing daylight duration and months of just beautiful warmth and sunlight for plants to grow, things start shifting right now as summer sets in. With summer here, while the sunlight will begin to decline from here on out, yet the heat continues to increase.
And how plants respond depend on what type of plants they are.
After the solstice, we're going to lose 1 to 3 minutes of daylight every day on average, and that's going to increase as we get closer to fall. Additionally, the sun's angle is dropping on the horizon, which casts more and more shadows onto plants. Things that were once in the sun on this beautiful June day will soon drop into the shade, sometimes permanently for the rest of the summer. All in all, between the reduction in light intensity and the reduced angle of the sun, plants are going to receive less total light, and that is their energy for growth. That is the core of how they grow and what they are. It's what they use for photosynthesis, energy, and to build themselves. So their growth is now inhibited. The way light is measured when it comes to plants is with a measurement called PAR, photosynthetically active radiation. And that's simply the light that is coming to a plant within the spectrum of what it can use to turn light into energy through photosynthesis.
A lower sun angle means longer, deeper shadows. So plants that were in the sun in June might be fully shaded by August. And in addition, even within one plant, there will be more shading as leaves above other leaves will cast shadows on themselves.
So low angle sunlight actually changes the color of the light that's reaching, making the reds become more far red. And plants have these sensors called phytochromes that pick up on this, and they can detect how much red versus far red there is, ultimately being able to understand whether there's long sunsets, meaning it's closer to fall, and also whether they're falling into the shade. They'll start seeing more far red than red light when they're in the shade or as the sun sets. And they respond to this in different ways depending on the type of plant. Ultimately, what I'm saying is high far red signals that fall is coming and it's time to start acting upon it. The result, some plants start stretching out to get out of the shade. Others will avoid flowering to wait until it's later on. And others will actually start flowering because they know the fall is coming and it's time to do it before winter arrives and make sure they can reproduce for next year.
At first, day length changes slowly as we approach the fall equinox. But as we get closer to fall, the light intensity and spectrum begins to speed up with how quickly it's declining.
This effect is amplified the further north or south you are from the equator. So for example, in Boston, the city nearest to us, we lose 3 hours light between now and the fall equinox 3 months from now. But if you were in Miami, it's about half that. And on top of that, the same thing for light intensity. The light intensity is significantly reduced between now and then, nearly 50% over the next few months.
Wow.
Whereas, yeah, if you go further south, it's a lot less significant. So the further you are, the more significant fall becomes from a light intensity perspective. Overall, you're losing nearly 50% of your light.
In other words, gardeners in New England are, of course, going to experience much more of a seasonal change than gardeners, say, in the South. But that means that gardeners that are farther north need to adapt their strategies faster. So what does this all mean for how plants respond? Well, plants use sunlight for photosynthesis. That's how they create sugars and energy to grow. These reduced amount of sugars being created, or energy, can then also cause a reduced amount of leaves and amount of vigor in the way that your plants have been growing. And this ultimately signals that there's a new change in the plant's life after summer solstice.
In addition to the reduced sugars, the signal, as we mentioned, that it's time potentially for certain varieties of plants to shift their phase of life. Some plants, called day neutrals, do not react to changes in light intensity. They might react to changes in sugar or heat, but they don't notice necessarily, they don't have the phytochrome response we were mentioning where they shift into another stage. But then there's two broad categories that do, short day plants and long day plants. And they do exact opposite things depending on which category they're in. So long day plants like spinach or lettuce are going to shift into flowering when the days are longer. That's why you'll see them start bolting on those hot sunny days in the middle of summer. So this is a great time actually to put seeds in, because as the days get shorter, those guys are going to do perfectly staying in that vegetative state through last fall, and you can have a great fall harvest. So then the other category, short day plants, will actually start flowering as the days get shorter. They see the fall coming and they say, it's time to produce seeds before it's too late, or fruit. Examples of this would be soybean and onions.
Other things plants are dealing with is the summer heat lag. And this can be counterintuitive. There's less light, but there's more heat as the summer continues. And why is that? That's because the earth actually stores heat. So even though the light is decreasing, the hottest weeks of the summer are still yet to come in July and August. And what does this mean for plants? Well, some plants like tomatoes struggle to produce fruit above 85 or 90 degrees. And plants like basil, heat stress can cause them to bolt, which isn't what you want if you want to eat those tasty basil leaves. All in all, this additional heat throughout the summer is going to be less energy because there's less photosynthesis happening with reduced sunlight, but more stress as plants experience extreme heats, which cause them heat stress. So what does this mean for gardeners? It's an awesome time to plant a late summer or fall garden. It's a great idea to be planting things like spinach or leafy greens, lettuces, because they need lots of sun to trigger them to flower, which we're not getting this time of year. So you'll get more of the leaves that you want to eat. The reduced amount of light and the longer nights actually prevent long day plants from flowering, so it's on your side.
And the other big thing that you can really manage is shade. Now, if your plants are in containers, you can move them around. Put the taller plants towards the north, so that way they're not shading out the southern plants as the line gets lower. And also monitor, right? If something's falling in the shade, you can rearrange it, you can rotate it and move it further. For instance, some of our plants in containers might fall behind the tree line or our home, so we'll just move it further north so it drops back out of the shade. There's some really awesome apps out there where you can use augmented reality to take a look at what the line of the sun will be. This is particularly helpful when you're putting plants in the ground, but that might be a little late for you. Next year. Now for plants in the ground, do monitor nonetheless, and even if you have things falling in the shade, you can address it by pruning and trellising and moving, if you have cucumbers, trying to move them so you can open up some space to make sure that all plants are getting enough sun, because otherwise they'll have too little light to really grow, but also you might wind up with some diseases setting in that will even spread to the plants that aren't shaded out.
But don't forget, even though our light is reducing, our heat is set to increase. So you also need strategies to beat the heat. Things that you can do is increase the mulching. This will help insulate the root layers below. And you could do some deep watering, which will encourage your roots to grow down and deep and avoid the hot layers of soil above.
Now, while you're increasing water, eventually the sun's gonna get so low, there's gonna be less sugar to work with, and you're gonna wanna start reducing your fertilizer over time. The plant isn't building as much new structure because it doesn't have the energy to, so you are risking over fertilizing if you're continuing to increase or even maintain your fertilization levels. Overall, this is the best time of year for growing. It's great, it's when you're getting a harvest, it's when plants are moving into the next stage of life, and man, is it beautiful. Who doesn't love summertime? I know plants love it.
The summer solstice is the longest day of the year, and it can be a turning point for many plants. With a little understanding, you can do things to help your plants continue to thrive throughout the summer so you get a great harvest. For more tips on how to grow life where you live, be sure to like and subscribe. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. So, can we hear Mandy?
Yep.
Yeah,
Please
one
hold.
sec.
Talk to the camera, make it look like.
Hey, camera.
Hey, Mandy, can you hear us? Can you hear us?
Audio's gonna be right there.
Oh, what's going on, everyone? All right, we're back. Well, guys, what'd you think? Everyone just had to listen to us talking for a bit. What did you guys think? Yeah.
I'm stoked about the technology that's it. Being able, right, like I use sky trackers at night for like constellations and things, and knowing that, you could have in your pocket this tool to be able to just pull out wherever you are to be able to see those things. I'm very, very interested in being able to play with that stuff.
That app's amazing. The one I use is called Sunseeker. I bought that guy like 10 years ago. It was so ahead of its curve, like AR, like augmented reality. So you literally, use the app, and it was $5 10 years ago.
Totally worth
Best
it.
thing I've ever bought. And I use it as like this augmented reality, so you can see exactly like, oh my gosh, like in September, this plant is gonna be in total darkness, or it's gonna go from 8 hours of sunlight to 2 hours of sunlight every night. So I find that to be huge. Definitely an app I'd pick up. Yeah, anything you guys thought was interesting or questions? Or Mandy, anyone?
What do you think, Mandy?
Yeah, I just think it's really cool that there are things that you can do to help your plants, thrive during this kind of tricky time of year with less sun and more heat. And when we were researching for it, I was also, I think you think of kind of your battling of, and to really think about being able to plant things that need long days to trigger flowering.
Uh-oh. A little choppy.
Extra these long
Uh-oh.
months on your side. You won't get a love that.
Like Simba. Get closer to the
Did I
Wi-Fi.
break up?
We might need a call. You know what? We're going to wrap up. I will say that is something so interesting. What you're saying, I don't know if, and we only got a few minutes left in sunlight, and then we're going to enjoy the last few minutes of solstice anyways. We all should. It looks like it's, you're further east. It's getting dark quicker where you are. You can see we're further west. We got a little more sunlight out here.
Yeah.
But, it's funny. It's like you think about
All right, I'll let you guys go.
All right.
Bye, Mandy.
Bye, Mandy. Love you. Bye.
Bye. Love you.
So, I guess then, I'll wrap up.
Well, one of the things she had just mentioned,
Oh, now
Scene
can you hear us?
switch.
Scene
All right,
switch.
cool.
So it's
Cool.
like out here, the biodiversity and the things and the conditions that the plants that we and the food and the vegetables that we grow out here are supported by a larger system that's in essence helping it grow. Whereas in the city, right, I've got everything in these planters. Kind of you talked about on the video we took home those tomato plants that we did in those
they
air
doing?
pods.
Yeah.
Phenomenal. Both of
Good.
them. I was really concerned about the one. It had like 3 leaves, and it's just like, man, it's rough. A tough storm, but gave it the right nutrients. Did some worm casting, some of our leftover nutrients as well, and it was like it bounced back and is flourishing. But as someone who's gardening in those conditions, right, in the pots and small time like urban gardening, is like you have to be more keen to how dry your plants are, to what that sun doing, because out here it's less of an impact, I feel, right, just because there's a more diverse life around it. There's more soil, there's these runoffs and things which are providing the things that the plants need on that larger
Sorry,
scale.
guys, we got. Oh, sorry about that.
No, everybody.
Hey, guys, we're live.
But I guess that's a key difference I've noticed, that I have to be more aware
I'm a dad.
of what I'm growing and how I'm growing it when I'm in the city, because that plant is more reliant on me as the gardener, as the farmer. Where out here, you could slip up a little bit because, the weather conditions, the things that are happening around the plant are much more beneficial, where if it's just in a planter, it's you and you only, or the rain it catches.
Such an organic farm.
Yeah.
Right? Like you can feel it. You can feel the sponginess under the ground. Like how much there's just you can just feel it's a network of like life underneath, but fungally driven. You know what I mean? You can feel it, and like nothing's left behind. There isn't an inch of exposed dirt. This is not just something's growing in on super quick. It's such a healthy place. Love it here, man. It's beautiful. You can just feel the energy, and we've seen so much different diversity of life. And anything growing here looks as good as it can get. It's interesting. I was thinking with the angle of the sun. It's almost like solar panels, like in the technology world, like they pivot and they change. There's like multi-axis, there's single axis, and dual axis or 2-axis, and they change. And it's like you almost think about how do you trellis? Could you adjust your trellising almost throughout the year to like accommodate?
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I'm like thinking from an engineering perspective, but then the plants do it on their own. It's just about almost accepting, or being intelligent about like. Certain things die, midway through. Like sugar snaps tend to break off, and so it's always nice to have those guys. I'll like plant them near other things, and when they die, then something else is next to them that kind of can take over that sun, diminished sunlight. So, yep. I'm sorry. We were not looking in the right spot.
There's just so much other stuff to look at here.
It really is. I mean, yeah. Should we keep walking around? Or?
Yeah, dude. We've still got enough light here. We can walk around with Andrew and.
I'll hold the computer. Do it. I'm on it.
So let's go check out this little pond runoff we mentioned before.
Wow, look at that shot.
Bring that over here. I think we can open up the dam and get this runoff to work a little bit more.
Yes.
Let's see, right? Can we get the water to go down even further?
Really?
Let's use gravity. Let's get some movement going here, huh? Because our pond is super high right now. Oh yeah, baby. Right
Oh yeah, right over there.
Wait, do we want it running or we want it blocked?
I thought he wanted it running.
No, we want.
Decisions.
Decisions.
So I think the plan is we're going to block it up so it doesn't erode. And that pipe is this will erode.
So this trench is no good.
No, this is bad. This is a bad trench. We didn't need all this.
Well, that's what would happen if you wanted it. So we're just going to show you a new video on how to build a dam wall to keep water in your pond. So that was just a fun little demonstration we wanted to show you guys. But in order to keep everything dry below, we're going to leave this here just like that. And that's what they do with the hydroelectric dams, right? They turn on their alternator or whatever the technical terms are there. And that's how it all goes. That was fun.
Sweet.
All right, let's keep going.
Let's
this
keep
way.
going. Let's tour. Look at this. It's a Summer Solstice summer spectacular.
Dude, I think I see Bigfoot.
What?
There's Bigfoot over there. Oh boy.
Oh.
I knew you were these parts. I could smell them.
Look at him. We saw that this morning, and I was like, yeah, I know who did that.
So it was cool. You can kind of see like this tall grass here. We had done sweet corn. We had done like turnips. We had done rape and things like that just to offer it as a foliage and some food for some of the deer. Things like that last year. And so this whole section here, we got a bunch of good corn from, as well as everything that we didn't keep and then process. We left there for the rest of the habitat around us. And so we would constantly see deer coming down to this area, rabbits and other things. It was just a great feeding spot to see a bunch of cool life come in. One of the things I love about this tree line here too is I'm a big bird watcher. And so I'll come out in rainy conditions because all those worms start to like surface, right? And like this tree line has probably like 10 to 11 different like species of birds, and they all just sit up there and they take turns coming down into the field here. It's like they can spot or tell somehow where the best earthworms are going to be, and so they'll sit up there, make their decision, they come down, they peck around a bit, but it makes for a really cool opportunity in terms of bird watching. Around here, let's see, some of the local birds. We just saw that oriole earlier, like we were saying. Bluebird, there's a couple that live here. Red-winged blackbirds by the pond, almost cattails. Tons and tons of stuff. The apple orchard, as we get closer now, you can kind of see it better. This is all of the different fruit or apple varieties. We've got Fiji in there, Macintosh. Trying to think of some of the other ones, but I think there's 5 different species of trees in there. And we're playing around because we love to make apple cider. I think that's locust. So this is like a super grower, and it was up on the top over there, and it was just taking over where we didn't want it to. And so as we were removing it from that area, I was like, man, I'd love to see or find a place where we can grow that tree back. And so planted one here. Once these get to the right size, we'll take down all this fencing. This is like a semi-temporary fencing just to keep deer out in those earlier years, because we don't want them nibbling on the fresh green leaves. They love that low-hanging fruit, right? It comes from somewhere. But we replanted this, as well as we replanted a bunch of maples. Last year we also did a couple different citrus trees we're trying out, the peaches, blueberries. If you can eat it, we're gonna find a way to grow it here at the Soperstead. That's what I'm saying. Apple cider is where I was getting to. So this right here is gonna be our primary production. We have a hydraulic press, and so we macerate all of the apples, we press them out, and we just get like a waterfall to flow. All this fresh apple cider come the mid-fall harvest. And it's phenomenal. We had a big party tent set up here. We invited our neighbors and a bunch of friends. We probably had 30 people here, and we were all taking turns chopping up the apples, putting them through the process, and everybody got to go home with a full gallon of fresh pressed apple cider. And one of the things that we were thinking about with this orchard here is that the diversity of the apples is good in terms of blending all those different flavor profiles. So having, 12 different types of apples in your apple cider, you're going to get some different acids, you'll get some different phenols and things like that. And so making that would be a pretty cool goal for us. So that's going to be down the road. But as we get closer to the house, you'll see one of our main irrigation ditches, right? we're on a hill, no question about it. And so when it rains, it pours. And to try and keep and preserve some of the other land, years and years ago they had built these. And so our process has been, one, figuring out if they're effective, and two, going through the proper maintenance to make sure that we can get all the rain down to that watershed without eroding or, you know, interfering with some of the areas that we'd like to utilize. So as we go across our little drainage tube here, you're going to start to see some of the main growing stuff. We've got in the front there a couple different fruit trees. Behind it, those are the raspberries, the blueberries. And then last year when I was living here, we had a full vegetable garden. We're going to try and do stuff with that, maybe for some late season stuff and have a little bit of fun. But everything grows here. But what I really want to show you is over here in this big tent. The kids had talked about it earlier. They've been helping us out. They were able to separate this flock of chickens that we are growing here. And so they were a wonderful help. But you can hear them if you get closer. You're going to start to hear that chirping. All these baby birds are just loving life here at the Soper Stead. And we're giving them everything they need and more because we love them too. Yeah, so I'm going to show you guys. Got the heating lamps down there. So it started off with 70 birds. And they're all hanging out here down there. Oh yeah. At night when it gets a little bit colder, they'll all be huddled up underneath that light. So you got to have some fencing there just to make sure they don't get too close and of course burn themselves. So that's just half of them. And then to monitor the food intake, the water intake, and just resources in general, we split them up, and then we now have two different coops. But eventually, as you'll see, as I'll try to show the capacity of this space we're in, this is an old like pavilion style tent that we had taken. It got damaged, but all of the structure was still good. So we covered in chicken wire. We put a tarp over to keep that sun from beating down on them. But right now they have about 14 weeks is what will keep them and continue to move them around. This is all a giant sled. And so you'll see as they get bigger, we put food in that little gutter there. But every day we want to move it because they just produce so much waste and they're pecking into the grasses. And so each day we move this entire structure and all the birds within it so they have a fresh pasture, and it's just adding all that extra, you know, bio stuff into the soil. So you can see after about 3 or 4 days, the grass just starts to regrow, and it is absolutely gorgeous. It's like lush green grass that grows so much better than any of the other grass around it. So it just goes to show the benefit of having guys like this, right? They're eating and they're going through their process, but they're also giving back with rich nutrients that are going into the soil to help other things grow. So we're trying to be more focused on how we can maximize that and continue to benefit from them as they benefit from us. This is cool.
Yeah, look at them
so
eat.
cool.
They eat so vigorously. These are, you know, we have egg-laying variety.
Yep.
And they're not like these guys seem to be so much more aggressive and eater. How old are these?
They're close to 2 weeks, maybe.
Yeah, and they're about the size. They're probably like the weight of our, 3 weeks. That's
yeah,
so
they'll
cool.
catch up quick and get ahead fast. They'll be real big. Sweet deal. Thanks for watching over these first, Luce and Ben. You guys are great. Let's see, what other cool stuff? Oh, let's go check out. They're probably sleeping right now, but we got the hives down here.
Oh, man.
They like it. Sunny days, warm temperatures. There's like a range of when conditions are good for bees to become active. So right now we don't have to worry so much. They're a little bit quieter. But we had issues with bears last year, and the bears had come through this area of woods, and we'd gotten rid of some of the invasive species there, but it was a perfect like cove for him to just hide there. He would walk over the beehives, and then he would take out all of the brood slates and things like that, and just really just take raw honey and raw sweet good stuff. And so we had to restart our hive. So the one on the far right is the one that's active currently, and they have a queen in there we've been able to identify. They're building out the brood, and they're continuing to make some honey. So we're hoping by the end of the year we'll be able to take that and process some raw honey from these guys. And as you saw from some of the videos, this place is flourishing with wildflowers and other types of plants that the bees love, and you can taste almost the local just flora that's really part of their diet. So we love keeping it, and bees are most necessary for fruit and everything, right? That pollinators. So we're hoping to get into some more bee stuff as time goes on, just to help share with you guys online how you can make a difference and help one of these populations, which ultimately helps us the most. So cool stuff here. There's always cool stuff.
This place is amazing. Look at that, and with that, the sun is dropping, friends.
That's right. I think it's about time for us to have some dinner too, so maybe we can wrap up. We'll have a little campfire going down by the campsite. And
do we all want to give a big warm good night to everyone out there?
Hey Lucy, you want to come say good night to everybody?
Wait, I want to say something.
Yeah.
I'm busy. Come on over here, Ben. You stand with me and Andrew. Stand over here, buddy. We're going to do a big group shot here in a little bit. So where? Let's do the coop? All right, let's go stand over here. Hey, Luz, come on this side of the fence. We're going to say goodnight to everybody. We want you
Come
to say
on,
goodnight
Louie, we
with
want
us.
you in the picture.
All
We're
right.
going to say goodnight to everyone out there.
Night.
Benny, what do you want to say, bud?
You can subscribe.
Like,
Yeah.
subscribe.
Thanks, bud. All right, Louie, you're going to miss it.
Come on, Lou. Oh, I'll run to the edge.
Come on, Lou. You know what? She's stuck.
Come on, bring one of the
Come
chickens
on,
out.
come on.
Come say goodnight.
She's hard to separate from little animals sometimes. They're always...
A lot of times. But they all love me. I want to show you something.
All right,
Hold
come
on.
on over. We're saying goodnight to everyone out there, Lou.
Can I
Later.
show you something really quick?
All right, real quick.
Like
What's
and
going on? Everyone needs to go
Like
to
and
bed.
subscribe and tell us what you want to comment in the next video.
What's up, Louie?
I want to show you something.
All right, we got...
Dad, I want to show you something.
Yeah, what's going on?
So when I put my hand here, everyone just wants to go on me, see?
Yeah.
Comment what you want us to do in the next video.
All right, everyone. We're going to say goodnight. Come on, Lou. Benny, you're going to miss it. All right.
All right, good
Well,
night, guys.
there might be...
We're gonna
here
lock
they
them in.
come.
I gotta put the pin in. You're
All
gonna be
right.
Stuck in there for the rest of the night.
Okay,
Ah, you
All
guys
right.
stuck in there.
No, no. All right, let's get them out.
All right, ready?
Come on out, kiddos.
Let me take the pen.
Let's have a big welcome night.
I'm stuck in there.
Uh-oh, he's really...
Yeah, I know you.
Come on,
figure
Lou.
out how to get out of here.
No, I can't.
Yes, you could.
I don't have
Come
any
on.
tools in here.
Lou, right now. Nope.
I'm free.
Come on. All right, everyone.
Good
Thank
night.
you so much, everybody, for joining
Good
us on the
night.
Summer
So
Solstice.
much.
Good night.
Good night, everyone. Good night.
Good night.
Thanks for joining us.
Good night. Hope you have a good summer.
Thanks, bud.
At least one chick.
All right.